Is Lebanon a part of the ceasefire deal or not? That's the big question, which still remains unanswered, as all parties involved give contradictory statements about the conditions upon which this fragile ceasefire rests. This is what several cities in Lebanon look like. Mountains of rubble, over 200 people killed, rescue teams and distraught family members looking for loved ones. In the aftermath of the deadliest attack that Israel has carried out on Lebanon since this war began, the Lebanese political leadership is now scrambling. The country's prime minister has ordered Lebanese military to reimpose its authority in Beirut in an apparent snub to Hezbollah. Several lawmakers of the Lebanese militant group objected to the cabinet's decision.
The army and security forces are requested to immediately reinforce the full imposition of state authority over the Beirut governorate, to monopolize weapons in the hands of legitimate authorities only, strictly enforce the laws, take the necessary measures against violators, and refer them to the judicial authorities.
Lebanon's government had earlier banned the armed group's military activities at the beginning of March this year. However, that decision has not deterred Hezbollah from exchanging fire with the Israeli military, especially in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah called the strikes a violation of the ceasefire and said that it fired rockets towards Israel in response, saying also that it has the right to defend Lebanon against what it describes as ongoing aggression. The bombing on Thursday this week has also drawn a sharp reaction from the Iranian leadership, who says that attacks on Iran's allies will trigger a retaliation from Iranian forces and render the ceasefire moot. Tehran stresses that Lebanon is part of the ceasefire deal. Meanwhile, in the more recent reactions, Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf has said that the US has violated 3 clauses of the 2-week conditional ceasefire. On top of this list is failure to enforce ceasefire in Lebanon. American President Donald Trump, on his part, has said that Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire agreement and that Hezbollah was not party to the talks. In fact, Trump went on to say that it is a matter that will be resolved soon, but when, he did not mention. Israel's prime minister said that last night, in fact, he said it last night, that it was he who insisted that the temporary ceasefire with Iran should not include Hezbollah.
I insisted that the temporary ceasefire with Iran would not include Hezbollah, and we continue to strike it hard.
Lebanon has faced one of its most devastating attacks so far after Israel indiscriminately bombed the country across several cities. The attacks killed more than 200 people and injured over 1,100. Since the beginning of this war, more than 1,700 people have been killed in Lebanon by Israeli strikes. The last time Israel and Lebanon carried out negotiations, the two sides agreed to a brokered ceasefire in November 2024. But despite that, Israel has repeatedly carried out strikes on the country, with matter escalating further after the war with Iran began. All right, let me welcome on the broadcast Lauri Hayatain. She's former president of the Takdum party in Lebanon. She's joining us live on the broadcast from Brussels. Lauri, good evening. Welcome to WION. Can I start by understanding what you're hearing from Lebanon at the moment? There have been several casualties, more than 250 people who have been killed. Several have been injured. At the moment, can I understand first from you what the current situation is?
Thank you for having me on the show. Definitely, this was the deadliest attack we've ever seen since the war with Israel started in 2023, in October 8, 2023. Definitely, people are still trying to understand what has happened, and the casualties, people are still looking for their loved ones the Lebanese government is trying to find solutions for the people, for people that lost their houses, now where to go already. Beirut has been really under pressure with 1 million, almost 1 million internally displaced from the southern part of Lebanon, where Israel had asked every citizen in the south to go into north, into Beirut, without coming back. So it is really a stressful moment, but the Lebanese government, I do believe, has taken the right decision today by asking to the Lebanese army to reimpose authority in Beirut to prevent any other attack as the attack that has happened yesterday.
Laura, you know, one of the biggest friction points at the moment between Iran and America has been the Lebanon strikes. And there's been a lot of confusion as well. Pakistan's Prime Minister said that Lebanon is included in the ceasefire agreement. America and Israel are denying it, while Iran is saying that until and unless these strikes stop, we will not agree to any sort of ceasefire arrangement. Can I get a clarification from you as to whether officially Lebanon was told it is included in the ceasefire or not?
So what the Lebanese authorities have said, they were very clear. They said the Lebanese government is the only side that should be negotiating on behalf of the Lebanese people. And that is a very clear message that says that Iran has no authorities to be including or not including Lebanon into the talks. Definitely everyone wants to see an end to the violence that is happening in Lebanon, and the Lebanese government was really clear and asking all international community to pressure the Israeli army to stop the war and the Israeli political authorities to end the war in Lebanon. But this is not for Iran to decide when the war in Lebanon should end or should start, because already they had Hezbollah on behalf of Iran has dragged Lebanon into the first war on October 8, 2023, and now on the second war when it started to revenge the death of the Ayatollah Khamenei. Already the harm has been done. So today I do believe the Lebanese government is saying it is their authority, it is their role to go into negotiations. And already the Lebanese government was very clear. The president of the republic was very clear. He said that we want to go into direct negotiations with the Israelis based on our interest, based on the interest of the Lebanese people, and not based on any other interest. And if Iran wants to use Lebanon as a bargaining chip, this is completely unacceptable according to the Lebanese authorities.
So, Laura, it's interesting that you say that Iran has no authority, despite the fact that Iranian authorities have been saying that we are the ones who will be supporting Lebanon. But you also said something interesting, and which was what my next question was, that Hezbollah is dragging Lebanon into this war. And there are several European voices that are echoing this sentiment. They are saying that Hezbollah is the one who's dragged the country into this conflict. One, is that the larger sentiment in Lebanon? And two, you know, there have been calls of disarmament for Hezbollah within Lebanon. There's been a tussle going on between Hezbollah and the parliament, the lawmakers as well. How is this all panning out? Because obviously there's a lot of domestic as well as global pressure.
First of all, let me just remind the audience that the Lebanese government, when it decided that the activities of Hezbollah are illegal and it banned its military activities, the Iranian refused, and the Iranian authorities and the Iranian government went very clearly and publicly said that the decisions of the Lebanese government that is being appointed legitimately is not of our concern, and Hezbollah is not going to be banned or disarmed. And again, when the Lebanese government decided that the nominated ambassador, the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon, is a persona non grata and had to leave the country, again, the Iranian authorities, government, went publicly and said, no, the Iranian ambassador is staying in Lebanon, even though the Lebanese government had said that he is a persona non grata. So therefore, for the Lebanese population, it is very clear that Iran has no interest in the Lebanese interest or in the Lebanese, what Lebanon is interested in. It's more It's about their interest in keeping the control over Hezbollah, and therefore using Lebanon as a proxy and Hezbollah as a proxy against Israel. And this is what is being not acceptable by the Lebanese population in the country. And this is why they refuse to be dragged into this war. They had been dragged, but they refuse to continue to be dragged. And the population definitely, they do believe that this war is not the war for the Lebanese. And even Hezbollah itself, it's not about feelings, it's about facts. Hezbollah itself, it said that when they entered into the war, in the latest round of war in March 2026, they entered because they wanted to revenge the killing of Ayatollah Khamenei. So they were very clear in their incentives, and the incentives were not like to end the Israeli occupation or end the war.
All right, let's wait and see how this moves forward. Laurie, pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for sparing us the time and giving us a perspective on what has been the Lebanese perspective. Thanks very much, Laurie, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that was, of course, the Lebanese perspective. Remember, we have been telling you that, there have been several friction points around this entire conflict, even as the talks in Pakistan are set to take place this week. We're going to keep getting you all of these voices. But remember, even as we speak at the moment, the strikes are still continuing from the Israeli side. And of course, there has been that arrangement that is still underway in Pakistan as the American and Iranian representatives come there, converge there and talk about peace. But whether or not Lebanon will be included in this peace process and peace will be achieved with or without Lebanon, that's the big question that still remains.